Now, because things do not stay the same, we can be sure of one thing. The owner will not stay the owner, and the people who are dominated will not stay dominated. We do not know exactly how this will happen, but after we analyze all of the other elements of the situation, we can make a few predictions. We can be sure that if we increase the intensity of the struggle, we will reach a point where the equilibrium of forces will change, and there will be a qualitative leap into a new situation with a new social equilibrium. I say leap because we know from our experience of the physical world that when transformations of this kind occur, they do so with great force. These principles of dialectical development do not represent an iron law that can be applied mechanically to the social process. There are exceptions to these laws of development and transformation, which is why, as dialectical materialists, we emphasize that we must analyze each of the conditions separately and make concrete analysis of concrete conditions in each instance. One cannot always predict the outcome, but one can, for the most part, gain enough insight to manage the process. The dialectical method is essentially an ideology, yet we believe that it is superior to other ideologies because it puts us more in contact with what we believe to be the real world. It increases our ability to deal with what world and shape its development and change. You could easily say, well, this method may be successfully applied in one particular instance, but how do you know that it is an infallible guide in all cases? The answer is that we don't know. We don't say all cases or infallible guide because we try not to speak in such absolute and inclusive terms. We only have to say that we have to analyze each instance, that we have found this method the best available in the course of our analysis, and that we think the method will continue to prove itself in the future. We sometimes have a problem because people do not understand the ideology that Marx and Engels begin to develop. People say, you claim to be Marxist, but did you know that Marx was a racist? We say, well, he probably was a racist. He made a statement once about the marriage of a white woman and a black man, and he called the black man a gorilla or something like that. The Marxists claim that he was only kidding and that the statement shows Marx's closeness to the man, but of course that is nonsense. So it does seem that Marx was racist. Now, if you are a Marxist, then Marxist racism affects your own judgment because a Marxist is someone who worships Marx and the thought of Marx. Remember, though, that Marx himself said, I am not a Marxist. Such Marxists cherish the conclusions which Marx arrived at through his method, but they throw away the method itself, leaving themselves in a totally static posture. That is why most Marxists really are historical materialists. They look to the past to get answers for the future, and that does not work.